Let's do this.
Okay, you ready?
Yeah.
Okay, so here we go. Hi everyone, and welcome to Champion of the Light Super Series. My name is Kai Ashley. I'm the spiritual guide and healer of the healers. And today we have the fabulous Maru Iabicella of the Infinite Receiving Abundance Programs, which you've probably heard of. Thank you so much for joining us today, Maru. How are you?
Thank you so much. I am so good. I am coming to you live from Fort Worth, Texas, which is outside of Dallas, and it's actually cold here today. It's raining, and so thanks for bringing a ray of sunshine into my life. I know that you're in the UK, so we're like, what, 6 hours apart, but I'm so excited to reconnect with you and hopefully reach many new people. You probably heard about Infinite Receiving. I'm not sure that they have, but in case you haven't, you're in for a treat, I think.
Yeah, and if you haven't, then you need to check it out for sure. It's an amazing program.
Yes. And
I would call it more of a movement than a program, really.
To me, it's a lifestyle. It's a default way of thinking. It's a way of being. It's so much more than a course or a program. You know, it's really, sometimes it's hard to put into words the impact that it's had in my life and that I've seen had in other people's lives, consciously or unconsciously, because that's how energy works. You know,
yeah.
You could do something and its ripple effect will be infinite, and it may not necessarily be tangible right away, right? But I see, like, I have this one client, I have the book sitting next to me because she just went New York Times bestseller with the book endorsed by Elizabeth Gilbert.
I love that.
And, you know, she was my client in 2015 when I was just first starting to tap into this concept message. And not to say that she, you know, I take any credit for this, but it's just, I was there as a foundational piece of who she's become, right? And it just fills me with so much honor and pride to do what I do, because I know that it, you know, if it changes your destiny even by 1 or 2 degrees, where you end up is a completely different destination than if you would have stayed on.
Absolutely.
Shifted. And I think that's what we do. That's why this word to me, this work, it's so sacred. And I don't do it unless I am in a good mood, if I'm good energy, or if I feel like I can truly show up, not just for others, but for myself as well. You know, I take it very seriously.
Yeah, absolutely. And it is serious, because this is truly, like, it's such a cliche term now, but it's truly life-changing work. Like, it alters your life when you do your inner work and you open up to receiving, like you're helping people do. You can't really imagine just how much it affects the trajectory of your life, but it does.
Absolutely. I mean, I always tell people that the example I just used of a 1 degree of shift, right? Like, if they have a healing session with you and they're no longer able to, like, if they're free from headaches, or they're free from anxiety, or they're free from that shame or that guilt or that trauma, what else can they do, right? It's not just 1 degree shift. It's a whole new trajectory. Like, you got off that plane and you went to another type of, you know, transportation rocket vehicle that's going to take you to a completely different place. And I think, yeah, of course, is very serious. Is not, I think this is where your own discernment, maturity, wisdom, and experience comes into places for you to pick the team or the support or the coach or the therapist that you most align with. Because how many of us have ended up with coaches or groups or programs that, instead of helping us be more abundant or more, I don't know, confident, they actually shamed us, they actually put us in debt, they actually bankrupted us in more money, right? And that's where sometimes, like, we don't learn by making the right choices, we learn by getting in trouble, or we learn by pain. Unfortunately, it's the nature of our humanity.
Yeah,
right?
It's still a valuable lesson.
Yeah, for sure. Because I've learned so much from what not to do.
Yep.
Right? It cost me a lot of money, a lot of energy, you know what I mean? And so I do think it's important to do your homework, to shop around, and then to align with people that take this very seriously and don't just they're not just doing it because they, you know, they want to have a life of freedom and they, you know, just for the money. So it's good to do it because you want more freedom, but just make sure that intentions are aligned, because that's going to make it to where what they do is more effective in your life as well.
Exactly. And I feel like it's especially when you work with people that teach you how to trust yourself and make your own decisions, rather than telling you it has to be exactly this way, which isn't an ultimate truth at all.
Correct. And by the way, hello, 8 people that are on the line. I just seen that there's 8 people. I was distracted. I was dropping to see if there was anybody watching.
I love that. That's great.
Okay, so what we're talking about? Sorry, squirrel.
That is actually my favorite sentence, by the way. I use it all the time. Squirrel, like especially when I talk.
I'm using it because I clearly I'm picking it up from your energy field. So I forgot what was your question?
I was just making a statement about how it's best to work with people who teach you how to trust yourself rather than give you a step-by-step.
Yes, and you know what? This is super important to me because I'm not trying to put my story or my formulas on you. I feel like one of my greatest accomplishments is to activate your truth, your power, your strength, whatever is already in there, but perhaps is dormant because a bad relationship put it to sleep, or shame or a mistake or your past or something that happened, like made you forget. I think which sounds like you as well, we've never really worked together in a, private, intimate capacity. So I don't know, but I personally feel like it's my job to sort of be that match or that mirror that's gonna reflect back at you who you really are. You're not your debt, you're not your mistakes, you're not your relationship shame, you're not your, financial decisions, you're not your weight, you're not your habits or your addictions. Like all those things are symptoms of something else.
Yes.
And we all have it. I struggle with food, I struggle with body image, I struggle with, not spending my money wisely. I legit, I'm going to say this out loud because I've been questioning it for 2 days. I was standing next to my Mercedes looking really cute, but mommy. Like I just gone to school to drop off my son and I went to the grocery store to grab something. And I thought I looked cute. I felt cute. And I was standing next to my Mercedes and I had this moment of like, oh my gosh, I am the poorest I have ever been. I think I am the least amount of cash flow that I've had in a long time. And I was smiling. Like I literally was, because I was like, how could you call that poor? How can I call myself poor when I'm standing next to my Mercedes in my cute clothes, ripped jeans and looking cute? I'm looking cute today because I've had to take my health back because the past year and a half was a crazy roller coaster. I even went through a little bit of depression and stuff. And so, it's just one of those things where who am I really? Am I like my bank account, right? Or am I this person that truly, how could I ever call myself broke or poor when look at my life?
Exactly.
Just because okay, yeah, money's been super up and down for a while because I've been in coming out of a depression and stuff. Who cares? Like, welcome to humanity, people. And what's funny? It's like, I was telling someone this morning, a client, by the way, I was telling her, I was like, I had this thought yesterday and I really wanted to make a post about it, but I held myself back. And I was like, did I not do that post? Did I not share that because of shame or because it could be misinterpreted or truly because my mother and my business manager would probably have a heart attack? And I think it's more because of that, because I know that my intention is to just set human beings free from their shame and from their all the images and the things that they think they need to aim for, when in reality, half the people I know that are driving Range Rovers, that are driving, like, we all have issues, you know what I mean? Like, we lack respect with our own relatives and partners. We lack stuff. Like, but it's not about that. You know what I mean? Like, it's truly not about that, because if all the financial abundance and stability in the world guaranteed happiness or health or joy, then Bill Gates would be the happiest man, and Jeff Bezos and Bill Gates would be the happiest, most evolved, better men in the world. And I think we can all agree that's not true necessarily.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like, it's so I obviously I think I'm mostly known, or we met each other. Most people in the world, I've had the fortune to travel to the Middle East, to South America, to Europe, to all throughout South America, Central America. The only place I haven't been to yet is Africa, but I've been in Asia, but I've been to a lot of different places talking about this message. And the reason being is because through it, I think I've been able to, just not only help people open to receive, which sounds so woo-woo. It's not woo-woo, but it just sounds very intangible. Like, what does it mean to open to receive? I'll explain that in a second if it comes out right, I hope.
Yeah.
But I think the way that I do it and how I share and how I talk is this, like, if you find me at the airport or at the grocery store or something, like, I'm always geeking out about some human behavior or something, but I'm also really silly, and I'm pretty sure I'm undiagnosed dyslexic, like say something backwards and I'm just like, I don't take myself that seriously, right? And I just really feel like I can humanize this human process better than most leaders, because we're always hiding behind something. We're always trying to impress. We want people to buy from us. We want people to see us as like an aspiration or something. While that is great, and I do know that there's many people out there that think I'm cool, or I'm good at this, I'm good at that. Like, I'm not that different from you. I have insecurities. I have fears. I have things that I probably hide for fear of judgment. And does that make me, like, what does that make me? It makes me human.
Makes
right?
you human.
And I think it's just, I'm grateful for Infinite Receiving, because it's allowed me to reach a broader audience. And I really try through my teachings, coaching, speaking, videos to just really like help people realize that what they're idealizing or idolizing, it feels really far from them. It feels like, I'll never have that body, or I'll never have that bank account, or I'll never have that type of house, or maybe you don't need to. Maybe what you think you're striving for, like, so hard towards, right? Like, it perhaps is not that. You know what I mean? Like, perhaps it's like, it's great. Do you know how people talk about like, oh, it's not the destination, it's the journey? I hate that. I really hate that with a passion, because it's so like, it just like makes me want to like pull my earrings. Like, for real, I'm just like, please stop, that's so boring. However, how many of you were told growing up, like, when you get your period, you will be a woman. When you have sex, this is what you'll experience. When you get married, like, life will be great. And you experience sex, marriage, and how getting your period. And you were like, is this fucking it? Is it really what you'll built up this whole thing around, like, getting my period, I'll like walk straight into womanhood? And you're like, this is annoying as hell. Like, I just want to live pregnant so I never get this, again. So, or like, even like pregnancy, once I had my baby, like, it was so like, oh my gosh, when you have them, it's gonna be the happiest day of your life. Are you kidding? Like, I just wanted to sleep. Like, I just wanted to rest. I'll never forget my mom asked me that, and I was like, can't answer that right now, because what I want to say is, like, I've never been more tired. So there's so many things that society builds up from us. When you graduate from university, you will be set for the rest of your life. No, that was when I had the most anxiety ever, right? When you reach six figures, you will have made it. Like, that's like what a great milestone in entrepreneurship. When I reached six figures for the first time, August 2015, I had no money in my bank account. I had to break my son's piggy bank to be able to get gas gas for my car. Nobody ever like really told me that, oh wait, six figures, not just in the books and in revenue, like six figures, like, it's not in the bank. You know what I mean? Like, nobody ever told me that, hey, it's great, six figures, but don't spend it all. Like, I know that's not really wrong, but that's the kind of stuff that, how many times has it been built up, right? Like, I almost got to that experience of having a really great job, really great paying job, supervising employees. I had made it at 28, 29. And it wasn't all that it was, like, hyped up to be.
Yeah, it truly is the inner journey. Like, we always think that, well, when I get the money, then I'll be happy. When I have, when I have all these things, then I'll be happy. And so people put their health on the back burner. I know in the past I've burnt myself out thinking that if I just, get all this done, then I can look after myself. And it's like, but that's when life is lived, is in between doing, like, it is the journey. It's like, on the journey is when you actually live your life. You don't wait to get to some end destination to get some title or some event, and then you be happy, then you look after yourself. for me, it's been about a big practice of learning how to respect myself, learning how to care for myself. And it turns out, after all, that it's not when the money comes. You have to do it before the money comes, and you have to do it during the launch and not after the launch, you know?
Right. Oh, for sure. For sure. Yeah, absolutely. I think learning your capacity and your, that it's okay if you're uncomfortable with something. You can see something, you don't have to force yourself into stuff all the time. I don't know, life does not come with an instructions manual. I heard a friend say recently, and I was like, it doesn't. And at the same time, I really feel like the program that I teach is probably the closest thing I've known for adults to get a refresher and maybe an upgrade on all fronts of how to react more positively, how to think, not even how to think more positively. I feel like that's, again, just overused, right? But I don't know, just the way, obviously, as you can tell, I'm very approachable and friendly. I really care for people to just somehow look at their whole lives and where they are, and realize that they're there for a purpose, that they're there for a reason, and that it's not a life sentence wherever they are, right? Yeah. Whether it's a diagnosis or a death or bankruptcy or a breakup or pain or, being overweight, like there's nothing you cannot change. And at the same time, it starts with like accepting where you are, what I mean? Accepting that, okay, we're here. Do you want to move forward with like beating yourself up? Like, come on, it's time to lose weight. You've carried this 40 pounds forever. It's time. Go, go, go. That's literally like dragging like a chain. What do you call this thing?
Ball and chain. Yeah. What? A ball and chain.
That, I think.
Yeah.
I can only think of it in Spanish because I'm Venezuelan, by the way. I didn't say that. I'm from Venezuela. I've been living in the States since 2000. But anyway, I think that's the way to move forward with a giant tether. Like, you better lose weight. You better make money. You better get your stuff together.
I've tried that. It doesn't work.
You're literally moving at half an inch per year or backwards even, and I think what I talk about, what I preach, what I teach, and how I live my life, for the most part, when I remember to like, oh my gosh, you're being extremely hard on yourself. Hold on. You're here for a reason. You didn't voluntarily say, oh, I'm going to choose to get myself into hole with this, or I'm voluntarily gaining 40 pounds, or I'm going to volunteer to. You don't necessarily do it that way. It's sort of life circumstances happen, and then you end up in uncomfortable situations, but you do need to know that you can shift them when you're right. Like there's things that I'm doing now, like even this type of interviews, I've gotten plenty of them over the past 2 years, invites. And I couldn't say yes because I was in a process of like inner healing and I didn't even know it, right? I just thought I was going slow. I thought I was just being lazy. I thought I was, whatever. And it turns out I really was just growing.
Yeah, all these things, we call ourselves lazy and we think that it's because, well, literally we're lazy, but you're right. It's because our bodies and our souls are in this alchemical healing process. And sometimes healing seems like you're not healing. Like I tell my clients all the time that not being ready is a massive and important part of the transformational process. It's not just always about getting that big change. Sometimes it really is about being in resistance, which is a type of protection and like the ebbing part.
Yeah. And so how many of you, and by the way, I just took another look again. There's like 7 people on. So hi again.
Hi
everyone. Where are you from? And stay till the end because I do have a free gift for everybody.
Oh yes. And we'll be reading the comments at the end for sure.
Kai said, Maru, this stays under 20 minutes or 30 minutes. And I said, good luck. Please cut me off. And the meeting, boot me out because I can talk forever. And most people always say, I could listen to you forever. So thank you. I'll take that. No, for real. We literally can talk about so much time. And I just really want people to know wherever you are that you're doing it your own way, that you're paying attention as to how you're doing it, how I'm doing it, and how far I've gotten, and here I am. I'm not going to reveal my age right away. We don't know each other that long, but you know what I mean? Like being 20 something, which I'm not, but it's like, oh, she's over there and look at me. I'm 40 something and I'm still here. What's wrong with me? nothing. Like, you cannot compare my journey,
Yeah.
the head starts in life that I've had, because I've had, at some point I had parents that helped me. I've had plenty of support from the universe in life, like, it has allowed me to maybe get a little bit of a head start. And then when that support started coming in, that's when infinite receiving happened. Which again, it just again feels like, even when you don't think you're supported, something happens, and then it's never as bad as you think it's going to be.
Yeah.
So I'm curious as to who's ready to hear a miracle story that is awesome. And it's not only is it awesome, but it also helps everyone, because the truth of the matter is people that come in contact with the message and they practice some of it, it's just like they feel a significant shift, whether it's like they just feel like more up, or they get a phone call, they get an email, they get a text, they get something where you're like, wow, I've been waiting for this, or it came earlier than I expected, or whoa, I didn't expect this. You know what I mean? That's the nature. That's how you know that it's out of the blue.
Mm-hmm.
Not receiving.
So yeah, I'd love to hear. Tell us more about your miracle stories and how people can also implement those in their own life.
Absolutely. Okay, so thank you, Infinite Receiving. This, what I'm about to share with you guys, is exactly next Thursday, March 12th, is going to be the 4-year anniversary. So I am gearing up for that, and I'm so excited. So please stay in touch so we can celebrate together, because I'm doing like a whole birthday, Infinite Receiving Day next week. So essentially, I feel like all doors were closing in my life. I had been in business for 2.5 years, and it seems like everything stopped working. Like, literally, it was the beginning of 2016. And I had an incredible 2015 when I hit the 6 figures and things kept growing, but cash flow was an issue. And when I hit January, my partner and I was engaged to be married to the father of my son. And, as life happens, we ended up splitting. And that month following, I literally did not sell one thing. And it was just difficult. I was struggling to even pay the gas bill. And I just remember seeing a client that I had coached, and she was killing it. Like, overnight, she was selling like $40,000 and this and that. And I just remember looking at her like, why don't I have that right now? What happened? I've done everything I know, everything I teach. It's working for others. I'm completely closed off. And I had a few experiences that led me to realize that it was me that was putting the block. Like, people had expressed interest in working with me, and then one lost a job, the other one, the husband asked her for a divorce, and so many little things that I was like, oh my gosh, I think it's me. I think it's me. I'm doing everything. I think it's me. Raise your hand if you're watching this, if you've ever experienced something like that, where you're just like, I'm doing everything I know to do and it isn't working. So this is perfect for you. So I just remember going to a hotel. I remember having $300 to my name, and I booked something on Priceline for like 78, 79. And I said, I needed a night to clear my head. I need to go back to the drawing board. I need to figure out what I need to do to move forward, because if not, I'm gonna have to quit my job. I'm gonna have to quit this and get a job. Mm-hmm. So I was on my way to the hotel, armed with Sharpies and pens and sticky notes, and building like a board to write. And it was on my way there that I remember distinctively like hearing a voice that said to me, you only get what you have the capacity to receive. You only get what you have the capacity to receive. And I remember thinking, I have room, like I have capacity. My relationships on the outside, I don't have money, my bank account is empty. Like, there's plenty of room in my life right now, because I have nothing. I feel like I have nothing. And then I was like, wait, so if I have physical room and capacity, how come, if that's true, how come I'm not getting anything? You only get what you have the capacity to receive. If that's true, then that means I don't have capacity to receive, because nothing is showing up. And it was then when I asked myself, like, how big is my capacity to receive? Like, if I had such a thing, or if I could measure it, like, how big is my capacity to receive for right now? And if you ask yourself this question right now, like, how big is my capacity to receive from 0 to 100? The answer may surprise you, because it's too low. That was my experience. I remember thinking 40%, like 40%. That's crazy. Like, I am asking for this giant things to happen. I'm asking for this Oprah-sized blessings to come through my door, and here it is, like, my door's only open 40%. That's exactly what I saw, what it felt like. And I just remember I had a phrase like come to me. I thought about how do I go about expanding this capacity to receive? Let's say this is true. As I'm thinking this, I thought of a phrase. It came to me. I thought of it. I don't know. The only thing I know is I started repeating this phrase, and within 20 minutes before I got to the hotel, because it was about a 45-minute drive north, before I got to the hotel, I had someone message me. It's all documented, by the way. It's so cool.
Mhm.
She's like, you know what? I need to talk to you. I'm a yes for your $7,500 program. That was the first yes I would get in like 3 weeks, which I so desperately needed. And I was like, that is so bizarre. Like, I haven't heard positive news almost a month. And here I am in the car thinking this, saying this, and I get this text. And I was like, okay, well, thank God, because at least I can breathe for a minute, right? Like, I can enjoy at least this night. And the rest, the 5 days that followed were mind blowing, and I couldn't believe it. My parents called and said that they wanted to buy a house for me and my son so that I could move out from the house I was living with my ex. We didn't have a lot of money to move out. We didn't have any money. A client gifted me a week in St. Bart's, and by Thursday morning, that was March 12th, a Saturday, by Thursday morning, I had $32,000 in my PayPal. And I was like, I've never had that much money altogether. And what happened? And so I naturally hid and didn't tell anybody out of fear of being judged, as we all do. And I just remember the couple of friends I kind of told, kind of like downplaying it, like, I thought this and then this happened, but they both had something cool happen to them right away. It was like within an hour and a half with, no time. So I wonder who wants to hear the phrase. I think everybody needs to hear this phrase, and tag me on Instagram, please, at Mario Ocella, if you do hear it and get it, and you really want to like receive that frequency and the energy that I can honestly tell you works, and it really grows your inner threshold for receiving. It literally grows your capacity to receive. And the phrase is the following: it's my capacity to receive expands infinitely like the universe. My capacity to receive expands infinitely like the universe. And you need to affirm that. Affirm it. My capacity to receive expands infinitely like the universe. It's so important for you to affirm it, because what happened to me turns out actually can happen to a whole bunch of other people. I had no idea that it was through that I would eventually come help so many people all over the world, from Brazil to Oman to Pakistan, to the Netherlands to Canada, Italy, Greece, you name it. I've been to a lot of different places, and Iceland. Like, it's crazy how this spread, and I was like, I am just like a broke ass single mom, like trying to figure out life, and then this comes to me, and it really went on to create a lot of abundance for me and for other people. And it's not been a linear journey, but in a nutshell, I will tell you, every single one of us closes ourselves constantly. Like, we all have the capacity to open, receive more, expand that capacity to receive, but there's many, many things that without you even knowing, you are doing, and it's working against you and compounding every day. And that's what's concerning. That's what's concerning, that unless they, I'm not the only person that talks about receiving. I think I'm the only person that talks about it from my angle, because mine is extremely practical. Things like, don't cross your fingers. When people tell you, I don't know, in England or in the UK or in Europe, but here in South America, and even in America, it's like, if when you want something good to happen, you're like, cross your finger, legs, everything, cross everything. So that it happens. To me, in what came to me, it wasn't just the phrase, it was like a whole philosophy of life and mindset and living and being. It was crossing your fingers, for example, crossing fingers, legs, toes, everything. It actually does this. It closes you up.
Oh, yes.
You know what I mean? That's when people say, like, I'm cross my fingers. I'm like, open those arms. Open your arms. Like, literally say open arms, legs, everything. Like, come to me, please. Like, I'm ready for you. Invite it in, come. So the way that it came to me and how I teach it, it's like, it's so nonsensical. It's simpler, right? Like, you've been through the program, So you would probably don't remember, I don't know, because it's been 3 years since I taught it. Not 3 years, probably a year and a half in English, but since you joined. But anyway, I just really want to invite everybody to know that perhaps if you're not getting something, it's not that you're broken, not enough, blah, blah, blah. Like those could be factors, but there is a way that if you approach it from this angle, that ask and you shall receive is real, but you need to learn to receive. And it's not as simple as like, I'm going to ask and I'm going to get, right? No, receiving is an absolute skill. And it's anytime you feel, let me ask you this, you and the viewers, like how many times do you bite your tongue and you just want to avoid conflict, and in the name of peace, you people please?
Yeah, it can be so easy to people please.
I do it all the time with my relatives and my partner. I used to do it a lot more until I figure out how to break the pattern, right? Or even friends that have really strong personality. You're like, I'm just not going there. I'm just like, in the name of peace, I feel please. Thank you. Like, I just rather do that. No worries. But that thing that you feel inside when you're trying to like accommodate what, or think about what you're trying to say so that you don't get in trouble or you don't trigger someone, that right there is a huge block, because you're not flowing with yourself. You're lying to yourself and you're
Exactly
trying to look nice.
Yeah, it's crossing your own boundaries, like you're sort of not being true to yourself.
Absolutely. And everybody does this. You know what I mean? Like you do it. Like, I'm not saying you, but like we all do it in some, whether it's like our anyway. So there's just that shrinking, what I call shrinking, that recoil, that inner, like, I'm going to be in trouble. Like that fear that we feel constantly, especially as women. I like, okay, I'm not going to wear that tight clothes because I don't want to make other people feel uncomfortable. I don't want to be judged, so I'm just going to be comfortable, right? Whatever. All those almost not reactions, but like knee-jerk reactions where you can't even control it, right? Where you're like this, right? Or somebody's not replying to you and you're like, did I do something wrong? Like, it's always about you, like you bad, you. Those things are, every time you feel that inside, you're closing yourself off. You're closing your bank account gates, your doors. You literally, this constant shrinking is closing you off constantly from receiving. And everything I teach, everything I preach, everything I am is dedicated to women freeing themselves from those things that make them feel like they need to recoil and they need to pull back. They need to hide, they need to not say anything because they don't want to go into conflict. Like, and guess what happens? Money is a result, passion is the result, health is a result, right? Like, freedom to me is freedom. And ultimately, I hate Socrates for saying this, and I hate him because every time I would hear it, I would shrink. I would be like, ew, that's so simple. I know that. Tell me something I don't know. And it was the purpose of life is to know thyself. Was it Plato, Socrates? Whoever said it, I hate you, because they oversimplified this whole, like, the purpose of life is to know thyself. And I'm like, well, duh, I already know myself. I'm 28 and I know the law of attraction like the back of my head. What is that to know? And what I realized as I got older, 10 years ago, it's like, oh my gosh, every experience, every year, every lesson, every step of the way, it's just an opportunity for you to get to know yourself better.
Absolutely.
And most importantly, to reveal those, those deeper layers of power, truth, strength, confidence. And I really think everything I teach, say, do, stand for is to slash through just like decades of layers of. It's funny because some people are commenting. That's cool. I really think that everything I stand for is to slash through those. Hello, Argentina. Vicky from Argentina is watching us. Hola.
Hi.
So yeah, it's literally to cut through, cut through those years and layers and beliefs and things and people telling you the wrong things about you. I really want to help you and everyone just get to know themselves at a much deeper level, because when they know that nobody's perfect, that they don't have to be perfect to be great.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's just like, yeah, again.
And then that's when you stop people pleasing and you actually do have the confidence to listen to that. It's that little niggling feeling that sometimes people will just feel it, and you'll just either it's like you'll shrink back and you'll let it take you in, or instead of speaking your truth, you'll just sort of ignore it and, you know, like try to push past it. And I think like when you really know yourself and you really have that confidence, then you allow yourself to, yeah, it's I call it like standing in the fire, you know, stand in the fire where your truth is, no matter what happens. Doesn't mean you go out on purpose and try to trigger people, but at the same time, you just stand in your power and you know that you have every right to say what feels right for you.
Yeah, I honestly think that this just came to me, and I know it to be true for me and for a lot of people. It's like we don't say stuff, or we don't speak out because we think it's going to cost us love.
Mm.
Right? Like you shut your mouth and stuff. You think it's to avoid conflict, but the truth is you think it's going to cost you love. You think it's going to cost you. Like if I were to say like, oh, you know, what if I'm the poorest I've ever been? Like I said, I was like, did I not say something because of shame, or because I think it was more about the mom or my business manager? Like I think they would like have a heart attack if I made a post about that. So it wasn't to avoid conflict. It was more like, I don't want it to cost me separation or distance, you know, from them. Like I don't even want to have to explain myself, like blah blah blah. So we hold back. We don't say things because we think it's going to cost us like money, right? In this case, they probably think it will, like, nobody will hire you if you say that. Well, I have plenty of evidence that when you're very honest, people actually run towards you.
I found that too. And this is such a great example of how it is, like, it isn't this, as you said, like a linear journey. It's up and down and all around, and you don't have to be perfect. You know, we are still learning as we're going. We're showing up as we learn, sharing what we learn and downloading the truth as well. So it's not about being perfect. And just to bring it back to what we said at the start, it's not about comparing yourself to wherever anyone else is at, you know, because we're all going through our own stuff.
Oh, absolutely. You just had, do you mind if I talk about like how you were sad because you had your baby guinea pig passed, right? And I remember when you reached out to me the first time and you're like, I'm devastated. My little pet is on my chest, right? And I'm picturing a dog. I literally like pictured a dog, right? And then like after the days, you sent me a picture and I was like, oh, that's a tiny little
guinea pig laying on my chest.
Yeah, especially because I really struggle with like animals and like saying them in English. I will like call like squirrels rats or vice versa. Like I'm just crazy when it comes to, I just cannot learn animals in English, and that's a flaw. That's, you know, it's just crazy. So you showed me that, and I was like, I had a slight minute of, it wasn't judgment. It was more like that I felt your pain so deeply, and it's because of your love, like your little baby. And who is anyone to say like, oh, if it's that, it doesn't count, or it should be felt less, right? Because you're comparing, right? Like the love for a person is greater than the love for a plant or your garden or your pet.
People often minimize guinea pigs, like if it's a dog that dies or a cat, that it's like, oh, well, that's worthy of being sad. But these guinea pigs, they live in our freaking living room. They're like our best little friends, you know? So it is just as important.
To me, it's like, why do we need to justify our pain? Like, why do we need to justify the depth or the size or the magnitude of our expression or our emotions? Like, to me, I grieved for you, and I said, like, I prayed for you because I could feel that this really took you out for a day or two. It doesn't matter what it is. It could be a line water break in your house that ruined something and it ruined your plans for something, and you're grieving it.
Yeah, it's still valid.
Stay in your lane, like do your thing, feel your feelings, and don't let anybody shame you because you're crying over spilled milk, you know what I mean? Like, or something. No, that is true for you. And I think as women, we tend to minimize everything. We tend to, I've always said this, and I said it at a talk. I gave a talk in Dallas. I said, there's no order of difficulty in the degree of pain. There's no order of difficulty. If you're going through something difficult and it hurts for you, it doesn't matter if you just experience the loss of a loved one, or, like your university closed and now your dreams are crushed. Like, you know what I mean? It's like,
Yeah.
both things you will bounce back from eventually, hopefully. And who am I to judge and say, like, move on?
Right. One of the main things that I have to give my clients permission to feel is to actually have their problem, even though other people have it worse. And it's like, it doesn't matter if other people have it worse, like your pain is still valid. It's still your experience. So we don't have to minimize it.
Yeah, this is a pretty big conversation too, for sure. But yeah, allowing yourself to have your own experience, it's super important. Right. And I have gone through my fair share of people like judging my problems, in my privileged bubble or whatever, and I've hid and guilted myself because of it. And, sometimes you have to go through that to then come to the other side and evaluate both. Should I feel numb, or should I feel something, or where's some place in between? Right. And again, your own experience. But anyway, infant receiving is awesome. I really think it's like a mentality, a chip. A lot of people in Spanish, because I teach in English and Spanish, a lot of people in Spanish always tell me it's like cambio de chip. Cambio de chip is like a chip change. It's like a chip change. I think it's I really do think it's my energy, and I think it's my I live and breathe this. Like, this isn't a sales or like a money pit for me, or it has been in my business has been money pit in the past, but I really could talk about this forever and ever, just because if it wasn't for this, I would still be that shy, ugly duckling person that everybody would pass her. Like, everybody would pass her out of humility. I'm like, oh, you go first, you. And I would have never like stepped into my confidence. I would have never heard what the universe had to say to me and turn it into something that it's become a movement, and that we're now about to celebrate its 4th year. Yeah, I'm really grateful. So I will say, if anybody ever finds himself saying, oh my God, I can't believe this is happening to me. Like, if you experience shock or surprise when something good happens, you're blocking yourself from receiving, because you're basically saying like, oh, this is odd and weird, and maybe I don't deserve it, right? So one of the things I teach, I have so many little tools that are so simple and quick and easy and fun. So instead of saying like, oh, I can't believe I won the lottery, I can't believe that never happens to me, I never win anything, just stop yourself. Instead of acting from disbelief and acting from skepticism, like nothing good ever happens to me or whatever, I want you to take a step back, look at it and say like, of course, like this is happening to me. More, please. Yes. Like, thank you. More, please. Thank you, more, please. And the thing is, there's not a limited amount of blessings you can have. I don't think the universe is like, okay, I get 1,700 units of good. Maru gets 10,000, Bill Gates gets 1 billion. Like, it doesn't work like that. It's just our own limitation of what we think it's possible.
Absolutely.
Right. So I think normalizing the good and just saying, yes, more, please. So if you follow me, you'll find that every single one of my posts, no matter what it is, it's always accompanied by more, please. And yeah, there's just so many cool things we talk about inside that they all will serve you in opening your mind up to, having a change of heart about what's normal for you and what should be occurring. And eventually your reality will shift completely.
Yeah.
Like, I'm now in that house that my parents bought for me and my child. I've had the opportunity to travel so much. I'm headed to London to speak in May.
Oh, really?
Yes, at Limitless Live with Susie Ashworth.
Okay.
You heard of her? She's amazing.
I actually haven't, but no, I'm sure it'll be amazing.
Oh, she's so cool. She's the coolest. I'm cool. She takes the cake. She will strip on stage. She'll do everything. She is fun.
That's
and
amazing.
I get to, play Shakira on stage too. I'm gonna shaky and like shimmy and all of it. That's what I do, and make it fun, because this stuff is serious, but you got to take it in stride as well.
Yeah. So before we get to your free gift, there's one question that I bookmarked to ask you, because it's very specific to what you teach. And I bet a lot of people have thought it. So you said that people, you can ask yourself, at what rate am I open to receive right now? And they get the percentage. So what's something that you can suggest people do to raise their percentage in that moment?
To me, I've never been asked this question, so you're gonna have to give me a second to contemplate it. So what can be done to raise their percentage? So first of all, to me, that percentage is not set in stone. I think it's going to shift. At that moment, though, if it shocked you, I think our initial reaction is to feel sad. Our initial reaction is to be like, oh, really? And that I want everyone to, whatever the number is, to know that it changes, that it shifts. And I don't want anybody to go into self-pity. I don't want anybody to go into sadness. I don't want anyone to start feeling sorry for themselves, because they're, to me, and I think this is why it worked and why it's going to work for you too, if you do hear what I'm about to say, is it's feedback. It's just feedback. And I think when I ask myself that question, it's funny, I have a launch going in Spanish right now, and it's not like, it's so slow that it's never happened to me. And so instead of me thinking, oh, I'm bad, I'm doing something wrong, I instantly ask myself, what is not in alignment? How come this cart is not really open to receive? What do I need to do to open it to receive? And clearly it's always more fun, things that feel better to me. Maybe the ways that I'm doing things now are probably not in alignment with who I am anymore. I don't know, because I've been, like I said, the past year and a half, I've been a little bit more of a hermit. I used to launch every month, do a lot of things, and now I'm just like, do a lot less. So if you find that you have a low number, I'd first want you to like put your hand on your heart, close your eyes, and just say something like, I'm so glad to know where I'm at. So glad to know where I'm at. I just want to remind myself that I can shift this, I can change it, I can increase it. And my capacity to receive expands infinitely like the universe. Say that mantra, say that phrase. I also want to recommend that you picture, this is going to sound so weird, but just bear with me. That day when I was in the car, I visualized a fish tank in our lungs, like in our chest cavity. I later realized that, it's funny because you told me something about your lungs, right? Like, I later realized that this sort of capacity to receive, it was related to also like our ability to inhale, our ability to like breathe in oxygen. The majority of Americans breathe at a 30% capacity. That's just facts from some health organization here. And I always use that example because it's like, okay, if the majority of people breathe at a 30% capacity, what happened to the other 70%? Like, why are we underutilizing our respiratory capacity when oxygen is infinite?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, wait, there's so much more there to be had, oxygen to be taken in, and we limit ourselves. Like we're like, I'm great. I'm taking in a little. Great, you know what I mean? But truly, like, you could be breathing in a lot more. In your case, you had a respiratory lung issue and you went on to heal it, which is why you're so amazing. But I really do think that just because you're not getting more, or your, let's say, receiving capacity is blocked or limited at the moment, that doesn't mean you're gonna not breathe or take in more quickly, right? Like, it's either find your inhaler or find something that, to me, I don't want to go off on a tangent, but sometimes the things that block us are accumulation of, I think it's related to shame, or accumulation of to-dos or something. And sometimes even just doing one thing can set you in motion to be like, okay, I'm in flow. Get accountability, call a friend and be like, man, I'm feeling low. I'm feeling down. I'm feeling like I need a kick in the butt. You know, I'm feeling like I don't have strength and energy to move on. I was talking to my friend this morning and I told her, I said, man, I've had time to work on some stuff and I haven't. And she's like, are you judging yourself? Are you feeling lazy? And I was like, yeah, it makes me feel like I don't have my shit together. And as soon as I named that, I was like, oh, I'm beating myself up. I'm being really hard on myself. That doesn't motivate me to move forward. It makes me want to go crawl into bed and watch Netflix.
Exactly.
And so I was like, oh, like as soon as I called it out and told someone, I felt space and relief. And I instantly felt like, okay, I'm ready to hit the reset button and start doing more.
Yeah.
So that was a long answer, but I hope one or two of those things I said really help you set yourself free from judging. But the last thing I want you to do is judge yourself because your receiving threshold is kind of low at the moment. It's feedback. It's just a number.
Yeah.
And it's feedback. You're asking it not because you want to beat yourself up more. It's because you want to shift it. Sometimes going for a run or a walk or something, right? Which I say, but I don't do. I think what helps me is to get more into action, to be honest with you.
Yeah. Yeah, same here.
Yeah. So I hope everybody likes me. I need external validation. I need praise. So please, here's my phone number. Call me, text me. Okay. My boyfriend really teases me about this.
Yeah.
Like, you need so much praise. And I'm like, I don't. You just don't give any.
Yeah, sometimes I'll sit there with my husband. I'll be like, I feel like some more praise, please. Praise me. I'll make him give me compliments.
Sounds familiar. Oh my gosh, this is interesting. So I have this little card decks. They're infinite receiving, and they have like 40 messages that I created, right? Like, or that I got, and I put them in a little card, and they're pocket size. So a lot of people.
That's a great idea.
By the way, Adrian, who was watching this live, is laughing with us. Oh, cool. Hey, Adrian, I love you. She took Infinite Receiving last year, and I think she loved it. She's like, I can't wait for you to start again. So the card that was facing up, which it never is the original message, is my capacity to receive infinitely.
That is so
I think that is a great omen, because I swear I have this cards handy all the time, and that card never pops up like that. And so this is the OG, and every time somebody gets it or deals it, I'm like, whoa, that is so cool. Great things are coming. They're already at your doorstep, or they're already here. So more, please.
I love that. And this one has had such a great energy that I really would suggest everyone to watch it like another 2 or 3 times. I'm hearing in my head, because Maru, you've dropped so many little pieces, all like interwoven and weave together, that there's some real gems in here.
Yeah, I think so. That's my goal, at least. That was my goal, that I would be of great service, not because my ego needs that, but truly because I just know how freaking hard this life is.
Yeah.
It's not easy. You know what I mean? It's not easy for you to keep your sanity, much less to try to keep the sanity of your household with kids and guinea pigs, you name it. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
It's not. It is absolutely not. And I think we beat ourselves up a lot, and we compare ourselves a lot. We're striving for a lot of things that are probably not for us. I met Jay Shetty a year and a half ago, and he told me a story that was so helpful. And he basically talked about going to visit a friend in India in the summer, and the elevator was broken. So they had to climb up to the 27th floor in the summer via the stairs. And when they got to the 23rd floor, the friend's like, oh, I forgot the keys in the car. And they wanted to kill the guy. And he says, make sure that when you're climbing up any ladder, towards any top of the summit, wherever you're going, is make sure that it's up against the right, like, what do you say? Essentially, it's like, hey, keep checking to see if you've got all of you with you, that you haven't left any key pieces behind, because you may get to the top of that mountain or that summit only to realize that you left something crucial behind, right? Like, and so the way I interpreted that is like, okay, every step I give, I'm going to ask myself, does this still feel authentic to me?
Yep.
Does it still feel real? Do I still feel like I'm all with it? Because so many of us go on a journey, you invest so much time, energy, and money, and you get to the top of the building only to realize that, you know what, I didn't have all of me with me.
Right. And I think
Yeah.
a lot of that comes from when people put their life off, put their health off, put their living off until they achieve the goal. Whereas you have to learn how to actually live your actual life, because it's all a choice. We can live very close to these dream lives that we want, maybe without bells and whistles, but you can be doing the same sorts of things in the day, care for yourself in the same way, show up with a similar sort of energy without having to sacrifice to get to this end result. And that's where what I'm most passionate about is really living in the now.
Yeah. It's just, I would always also hate Eckhart Tolle when he said the power of now, the power of now. And not, when I say hate, I don't mean it like that, but it was I didn't understand it. I didn't really understand it. So because I didn't understand it, I resisted it, and it sounded too woo for me. Of course, then it happened to me where I never thought I would ever want to slow down, or just like stop to smell the roses. That felt like a waste of time, And then I realized that if I had not gone to that hotel, if I had not decided to take a step back from my reality and just go silence the mind, or just literally go get a break
Mm-hmm.
from my reality, like I just needed a break, right? If I hadn't decided to stop hustling and just take a day and a half to like wipe this slate off and like get a break, I would have never heard the message of infinite receiving, because I would have been so busy in my head. And so, of course, maturity, age, experience, wisdom teaches you when you're 28, 29, even 30, you're just like, I'm just gonna go as fast as I can. And then I'm like, good for you. That's real and it's authentic. Then and it'll come time for a different period of time. So I'm not shaming anyone that's doing it. By all means, keep going if you have the energy. Just know that if you ever start feeling tired or fuzzy and stuff, call Kai or call me. Yeah. Because you're not derailing. There's nothing wrong with you. You're just changing lanes. You're growing.
And the only thing that derails you is when you start judging yourself for wanting to slow down or have those breaks, or for not being as productive, and you start shooting all over yourself saying, oh, I should do this and I should do that, and it's bad that I didn't. They're the actual things that derail you.
Yeah. And I mean, as much as I do accept and price everything too, I like, even this morning, it catches you off guard. I'm sure you'll relate to this, right? I'm so strong. Why am I crying? Or I'm so strong. Why am I being a bitch to my husband? Like, it's like, it's called life. Stop judging yourself.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, who doesn't? So come on, people. Yeah. So thank you. Thank you. I super enjoyed this.
Yeah.
I hope we keep in touch. Don't be a stranger. Don't just call me when you need something.
Yeah, no,
really, no, I'm just kidding. She's not just asking for a favor. To me, this is a pleasure. Yeah. This is awesome.
I was about to make a terrible joke about my guinea pig dying, and I couldn't get it out, which is why I stuttered. So would you like to tell everyone about your free gift? And while you do that, I'll drop the link in the comments on my actual page.
Yes. Okay, I'm going to do an infomercial on my own little super simple free gift that we put together in no time, about 10 days ago. So yeah, everyone, you should totally give me your digits, your information. Why? Because in exchange, I am going to give you this little exercise that will allow you to calculate your capacity to receive, and you will be able to tell which areas you are expansive and open and which ones need probably your attention and your focus. I'm also going to show you in that exercise that I hope you understand how, like, let's say if you're having issues with your family or issues with money or with your health, like how it's all related and how expanding one will expand all the other ones. So it's just a fun little exercise that came to me a long time ago. And it's just been my closest way, I think, to visually present to people, for people to understand their own capacity to receive in a visual way. I will also say that if you're intrigued, if you want to connect more or something, please do reach out to me via DM on Instagram. Please don't be shy. And please share my capacity to receive expands infinitely the universe with the world. Infinite Receiving's birthday is next week. So we're going to do a whole Infinite Receiving Day. I'm going to be doing card readings and talking more about this. doing a live call. So yeah, it would be great to have more people there.
That's amazing. And so that is in the comments now. If you're watching this anywhere else, at the moment, it's on the comments on my page called Kai Ashley. If you're watching this on YouTube, it will be in the description under the video, obviously. And if you are, please subscribe, please like, and make sure to follow Maru if you're not already. Great. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Yes, I have a couple of friends watching, Infinite Receivers, Adrian and Aaron. Yay, thank you guys for being here. Awesome.
Okay, so make sure that you tune in for all 24 episodes of Champions of the Light. Today was day 4. We still have 20 to go. It's going to be absolutely fantastic. We have more amazing, incredible leaders. And Maru, this has been an absolute pleasure and a blessing. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you for doing it. Thank you for inviting me. And I hope to see more of you and more of you all too.
Yay. Okay, bye.